We enter the World Center of Racing in the season finale, regular season finale for the HTL Cup Series with heavier hearts than how we left Thunder Valley 7 days ago. One of NASCAR's brightest talents this side of the millennia passed away last week. Greg Biffle, one of 7 passengers, along with his wife Christina, his son Ryder, and his daughter Emma, and 3 others, in a plane crash in Statesboro, North Carolina. A Hall of Fame nominee. He had a Hall of Fame career to go with it. 19 NASCAR Cup Series race wins, 13 pole positions in the Cup Series, 20 race wins in what is now the O'Reilly's Series, what was the Busch Series at the time, 17 wins and a championship in the Craftsman Truck Series as well. He was an all-time great and a thrill to watch on the racetrack. It is fitting that tonight we arrive at Daytona for the Firecracker 400, a race where 22 and a half years ago he got his first career win in the 2003 Pepsi 400. This is a race where HTL drivers have also catapulted themselves with their first wins. To some, he was a friend, he was a colleague. For some of us here on ABN and HTL, he was an icon. He was a daredevil. More importantly, he was a humanitarian. And that was made apparent after Hurricane Helene. This race is for the Biff. On behalf of everyone here for HTL and ABN, we race with heavy hearts, and our condolences go to the families of those, the Button family, the Wadsworth family, and the Biffle family at this time. And we're glad you're with us as we pay tribute in the best way we know how, in the best way he knew how, by racing. It is a race unlike any other, a pressure cooker for those not locked in to the HTL Cup Series playoffs. It is a holiday bonanza. It is a tribute memorial. And it is a dogfight all in one. Here at the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway, we're glad you're with us for what should be a very fun race here tonight. Everyone trying to make the playoffs here, and it is very straightforward who is where. Those marked in cyan, the light blue, are currently in the playoffs. They are locked in. There is no way you can take them out of the playoffs at this point. 12 drivers locked in. 10 on this screen. Mark Kissenweather, your points leader, does not need to do much to become regular season champion. Bren Roberts, 2nd place. Pacey Wygant, 3rd. Zach Meredith, 4th place in points. But again, everyone in the top 10 locked in based on either wins or points. Tucker Sawyer, Eli Sasek, locked in based on points. Blake Henderson winning last week in Thunder Valley, locking himself into the playoffs. And breaking a winless drought dating back over 1,100 days. Chad Wadsworth won this race at the Daytona 500 to begin the season. Can he sweep Daytona like Tommy Reynolds did a couple seasons ago? Hunter Peach, Cody Pennell, they sit amongst the most uncomfortable. They are currently locked in based on points, but that will shift as this race goes along. Time will tell who is in and who is out of the playoffs. And this is a race where things can flip upside down in a hurry. Those in blue, not locked in, as we mentioned. Those in cyan are locked in. Those in red, we'll see more of those in the next page. They are ineligible for the playoffs. David Smeal Jr., Bailey Thompson, Steven Oberstadt, they are currently 13th, 14th, and 15th. Zach Apperson, after an abysmal Bristol, dropped out of the top 16 down to 21st place. He is currently using a wild card to make the playoffs. For those unfamiliar with the wild card rule, if you're outside the top 16 with a race win from 17th to 30th, you get to use the wild card to make the playoffs. You also have to make at least 10 starts to do so. Those in red have not made 10 starts in the regular season to do so and are not eligible. So Jeremy Brayall did not make 10 starts, not eligible. Elias Flores is eligible, as is Byron Jones. They're on the outside looking in, as is Lily Sharp, Josh Arnold, Dustin Hall, Ross Baxter, and Alfred Denny going into tonight's event. Dale Markowski, Olivia Pereira, they are outside the top 30, so not only do they need a race win, but they also need to jump into the top 30. Several drivers not racing here tonight. Obviously, Dean Clavitt, Matt Forgen, Josh Stoltz. They are currently not in the fold there. Callie Height could make the playoffs, but it would be for the car. Callie Height not racing after the new year. But very interesting to see how things play out here tonight. That being said, it is almost time for us to get ready to go racing here. And it is the 61 of Caitlin Height that will lead the way here at Daytona. So we'll go ahead and we will go with the starting grid here at the World Center of Racing for the Firecracker 400. Caitlin Height, David Smoot Jr. on the front row. David Smoot Jr. trying to make the playoffs. Caitlin Height ineligible, filling in for Josh Gaiman in the 61 car. One of the many tributes towards Greg Biffle on track tonight. Patrick Oberstadt and Lily Sharp in row number 2. Patrick Oberstadt, a tribute throwback 88 car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Sitting in row 2, Hunter Peach, Olivia Pereira in row 3. Olivia Pereira, another throwback to Greg Biffle that posted 96. Daley Thompson, Dale Markowski in row 4. Markowski, a very poignant tribute to Greg Biffle. That car, a throwback to when he won the Pepsi 400 back in 2003, his first Cup Series victory. Blake Henderson, another throwback to the 3M machine for Greg Biffle. Callie Height in the Coca-Cola number 87 tonight. Cody Pinnell on the racetrack there in the number 8, alongside Josh Susi in the number 24 in row 6, outside the top 10. Again, those marked in Zion locked in to the HTL Cup Series playoffs going into tonight. Josh Arnold, a throwback to Ryan Newman, Rocket Man, who won the Daytona 500, not in that Paints game, but won at the Daytona International Speedway back in 2008. Alfred Denny, going back to one of Biffle's many paint schemes with Roush Fenway Racing, and number 21 car back in row 7. Mark Kissenweather in the number 2, the Toyota throwback, alongside Elias Flores, throwing back to Jeff Burton's car when he raced for Roush Racing back in the mid-2000s. Row 9, Dustin Hall, another throwback to Greg Biffle in the number 1 City car that was run in the Busch Series back in the late 2000s. He's alongside Facey Widget, another throwback in the 00 3M machine here tonight. The top 10 rounded out by Bryn Roberts, a Sheets throwback from the inside alongside Zach Apperson, who will round out the top 10 in 20. Stephen Oberstadt, row 11, alongside Brady Smith. Stephen Oberstadt throwing back to the All-Star car Dale Earnhardt Sr. ran back in 1999. Brady Smith, a throwback as well on his paint scheme. Chad Swatsworth, the Ace Hardware throwback in the number 6, alongside Bobby Blowers, throwing back to one of his dirt racing idols. Starting in row 12, Byron Jones in the number 60. Wearing that signature font, the number 60 car, alongside Tucker Sawyer, throwing back to Kurt Busch, the Sharpie machine, in row 13. Eli Sasek throwing back to the Mac Tonight car, the 94, driven by Bill Elliott, alongside the 81 Oreos throwback to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Busch Series car. They are in row 14. Jason Scott, Angel Santiago in row 15. Santiago in the 16. Moved from the 90 to the 16 for the rest of the season, so a very poignant throwback here for Santiago, who is not playoff eligible. There's no change there. But they're in the 15th row, 29th and 30th. James Wright filling in for Chelsea Carter, alongside Zach Meredith in row 16. Row 17, Tommy Reynolds in the 29 AC Delco throwback for both Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick. Richard Odie already running a throwback that is for Martin Truex Jr., the 78 car for Furniture Row. Gary Donaldson, the National Guard throwback, the number 22 for him. Another Greg Biffle throwback there alongside Lily Frazier to make up the field here tonight. 2.5 miles around the Daytona International Speedway, 7th running of the Firecracker 400 as we get ready to go racing. Eli Sasek won this race last season to get himself into the playoffs. Who wins tonight? The stage is lap 25 and 50. No fast repairs. Gets us underway. We're racing in Daytona. Caitlin Height leads lap number 1. David Smoot Jr. in 2nd. Patrick Oberstadt 3rd. Lily Sharp 4th. Hunter Peach in 5th. With the 20 and the 19, 4th and 5th in line on the inside lane. Outside looking in for the playoffs right now as things sit. So they've got some work to do. Stage points do matter. Lap 25 and lap 50. But no fast repairs to get to that point. A nice even 100 laps here in Daytona for the Firecracker 400. 36 cars on the racetrack. There's already a separation between first and second pack. But as we brought up before, and please see if we bring the information up again, fuel mileage can easily get through stage 1 without a pit stop, so there shouldn't be a threat of lap traffic in either stage 1 or 2. Only concern for green flag pit stops would be in stage number 3. Caitlin Height sitting nice and steady at the front as things currently stand. The spotters stand high above Daytona International Speedway, above the broadcast booth. See a little bit of latency further back. That is one of the cars further down the order. I believe that is potentially Elias Flores. So you see either Elias Flores. No, it looks like actually it might be the 17. Zach Merritt. See just how expansive this 2.5 mile racetrack is. This is in the mid-pack. Behind the 87 of Callie Height. That is Josh Susie on the inside lane. Outside lane being led right now by the 12 of Josh Arnold. We talked to Mark Kissenweather a couple weeks ago. He said that the main objective was going to be trying to get Josh Arnold into the playoffs. A win would do so. He is not far away from being in the playoffs points-wise, but a race win would definitely punch that ticket for him. But he's on the outside lane and falling backwards with teammate support from Kissenweather. There's the 27 of Bailey Thompson, winner at Chicago a couple months ago. And that 27 Wii Machine, another great Biffle throwback, one that caught fire on social media. It was considered a lost media car. It's a car that Biffle spun during qualifying at Dover back in 2008. It's a car that obviously, with all the social media attention, very easy to grab and replicate for a moment like this. But Caitlin Knight, front and center, has led all 5 laps so far in this event. Again, those in red, not playoff eligible. Those in blue, fighting for a playoff spot. Those in cyan, the light blue, already in the playoffs. There's already 12 cars with tickets punched. The question is, who's going to be the last 4? That is the ever so infinite question. "26 cars in this lead pack. Zach Meredith came down pit lane. He is now on his own at the moment. That number 17 car sitting on an island. There is a smaller pack sitting further adrift at the moment. Actually, a couple different packs going on at the moment, because there's a 3-car pack right here. Tristan Bayer, Bobby Blowers, and Tucker Sawyer. And then it's Santiago, Dustin Hall, Willie Sharp, Richard Odie, Tommy Reynolds, and Gary Donaldson, the very furthest line. Everyone shuffling around just a little bit. We're right on board one of the many Greg Biffle throwbacks here. Chad Swatsworth on board of him right now. Working the inside lane. Open setup, as it was in the Daytona 500. You see the 16 Forever sticker on the back of the 4-car of Zach Apperson, the Talladega race winner. Chad Swatsworth, winner of the Daytona 500 to open up the season. Checking up in line. You heard that. The throttle crack open on board the 6-car. It's a game of give and take, a chess match at about 200 miles an hour. You get just a little inkling, an idea on some of the traffic around the cars at the moment. This is the helmet cam. This is exactly what Swatsworth is seeing on board the number 6 car. To the right-hand side, that gold car, that is Steven Oberstadt. Directly in front of him is Apperson. And look just behind him, there is James Wright. And Swatsworth goes middle side, now looking to the outside lane. Trying to get behind. I believe that's the 0-0. Casey Wygen, it is. It's the 0-0. And Wygen instead goes to the middle. And trouble. Kessenweather spun around. First caution of the night. Remember, no fast repairs either here at Daytona. So there is no get out of jail free card. Kessenweather holds the brakes and waits for cars to go on through. It'll catch everyone up here, and I believe Zach Meredith, the lucky duck, will get the free pass. But it got a little bit hectic there. And we will take a look as to why. In slow motion. It looks like he just gets tagged. It gets tagged by Meredith, so Meredith will not get the free pass out of this. And everyone runs out of space really quickly. Height gets a piece. Callie Height gets a piece of it. Eli Sassick gets turned. Swatsworth involved. Steven Oberstadt involved. James Wright involved. Not a great place to be. we'll take another look here. And we'll back it up just a second so you can kind of see. It starts up. Meredith is slotted in behind Kissenweather here. Kissenweather behind the 12 Arnold. Teammates there trying to push each other into the tri-oval. A little bit of contact there between Lily Sharp. Yeah, Lily Sharp and Hunter Peach. And everyone checks up here, and very unfortunate for a lot of the cars involved here as you see as it all sort of unfolds. Cars go scrambling. Overall, could have been a lot worse of an accident. But still not ideal, and we'll still leave some cars with repair work to be done here at the World Center of Racing. Mark Kissenweather at the epicenter of it for our first caution of the night. We'll line up 33rd. A couple cars coming down pit lane here. Stephen Oberstadt in 35th, coming down for extended repairs. You saw him involved in that accident. Zach Meredith a lap down, also coming down the pit lane. The only car off the lead lap at the moment. Caitlin Height leads the way. Valfreya Motorsports trying to get that car into victory lane. Trying to get Valfreya Motorsports into victory lane for the first time in its HTL Cup Series history. And with that, we'll step aside for about 30 seconds for a word from Henderson Graphics. Stay tuned here in Daytona for the Firecracker 400 on ABN. Under caution here for the first time tonight here at Daytona, the World Center of Racing. And we are glad you are with us. Caitlin Height, Davis Smith Jr., Patrick Oberstadt, Josh Arnold, Lily Sharp, your top 5. First caution, a baker's dozen involved in total. Some more violently than others. Callie Height, Callie Height, Mark Kissenweather, Stephen Oberstadt, whose day has come to a close. He is the first retirement of the race, it looks like here. So it looks like at the moment. I'll double check here and just verify that. But that looks like that is the case. We get ready to go back racing here in Daytona. Stage 1 ends on lap 25. See the field doubling up and ready to go racing. Reminder, we are off next Monday. No broadcast next Monday for the holidays. Everyone enjoy a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we'll see you again January 5th for HTL coverage. We'll see you on ABN screens. We'll see you this weekend for Winston 400 qualifying. But for HTL coverage, we'll see you January 5th for the Southern 500. And then January 12th for the Watkins Glen race. Talladega on January 19th and February 2nd for Kansas Speedway. We have 2 weekends of Winston 400 coverage coming up here on ABN. Winston Shootout. What's the 400 qualifying, the duels, and then January 4th, the Winstall 400 itself to kick off 2026 in style. Caitlin Height chose the outside lane ahead of Josh Arnold, gave Davis Mill Jr. the inside lane. We'll see how this pans out. "35 cars rolling. 33 on the lead lap. Zach Meredith and Richard Odie a lap down. Richard Odie in must-win territory. Zach Meredith already in the playoffs with 2 wins. Charlotte and Kentucky. The green flag flies. Away we go. Racing once again at the World Center of Racing. Kayla Knight, really good restart. Jumps down ahead of David Smeal Jr. In the outside lane will immediately parachute backwards. Josh Arnold and Bailey Thompson not able to move forward. Former teammates in 61 and 54, Height and Smeal lead the way once again as they did pre-caution. Patrick Oberstadt third, Lily Sharp fourth. And then it's 2x2 as they sidestep through 3 and 4. Everyone trying to take care of themselves at the moment. 28 cars in this lead pack. All the way down to Blake Henderson. You saw Richard Odie, the 78, not a lead lap car. He is trying to put himself in a position to try to battle for the lucky dog, the free pass position for the stage caution on lap 25. Casey White is trying to work his way forward, the 00. Running the outside lane and running it pretty well. Up to 5th. But can't get much further than that. As we saw at Daytona, as we saw at Talladega and Atlanta, inside lane is what leads the way right now. Caitlin Height leads the way there too. 17-time race winner looking for career win number 18. If she can do it. Former Daytona 500 winner, won last season in a great simulation race. David Smith Jr. one career win to his name last season in Fontana. Everyone trying to be a little bit more patient here as we get ready to come to the end of stage 1 in about 7 laps time. Some already snake bitten in this opening stanza. And as we mentioned, everyone good to go on fuel in stage 1. No one needs to come down pit lane, especially with that caution. Everyone definitely good to go now. The question is, do you take tires on your pit stop during the stage break, or do you just take fuel? Do you go fuel only? Patrick Oberstadt trying to go for the race lead. Jump to the outside lane from 3rd on the inside, and here he goes. One of the Pied Pipers of restrictor plate racing, Patrick Oberstadt, got to the front and got left behind by Pacey Wygant and Josh Arnold. Pacey Wygant looking for extra playoff points. Josh Arnold looking for a playoff opportunity. And just like that, Patrick Oberstadt from 0 to hero, back to 0. And will lose more spots than he had. Was 3rd before that move. And now back down in 7th place. Casey Wygant now leads the way over Josh Arnold, Bailey Thompson, and Josh Susi has made his way up to the front. car far in the inside lane. Having to double check to see who that is. That car dropped all the way back. And it looks like it is Lily Sharp. Is what it looks like. Something went amiss. And you see how prevalent the inside lane is. There was one move for the lead on the outside lane, then it died out. Completely dried up. Patrick Overstat, nowhere to go, has dropped out of the top 10 altogether. Down in 13th place and being deserted. There goes the 97 of Tucker Sawyer. Some trying to revive that outside lane, see what they can do with it. That's the 60 of Byron Jones trying to lead the way, and Byron Jones, a unique paint scheme on his car. Right on board for a second. His a little more symbolic. We talked about Greg Biffle passing away from that plane crash in Statesboro, North Carolina. Michael Annett, another NASCAR veteran in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series as well for Tommy Baldwin Racing, lost his life after a long illness earlier this month as well. Byron Jones running an asymmetrical car, split down the middle. Right-hand side for Biffle, left-hand side for Annett. And you see him trying to charge forward. He is up into the 5th spot. Trying to get somewhere. He's slowly making his way forward. A lot of support, though. That's the 9 of Sasek, the 74 Jason Scott, also right behind him. And the 97 of Sawyer. A lot of Ascent cars up there. Billy Thompson jumps top side, trying to get a chance at the race lead. But the inside lane pulls away immediately. Josh Susie up to 3rd. Caitlin Heitbeck up to 4th. Final lap of stage number 1. Stage points, oh so critical at this junction. And Josh Arnold knows it. 2nd place for Arnold, ahead of Smeal, ahead of Flores. With a lot of work to do. Out of 4. And, whoa, trouble! Wygen got turned. Josh Arnold will win stage 1. And we'll take a look at the replay there. But that is your top 10 scoring stage points here tonight. Pit stops will begin here, and while we look at pit stops, we'll look at what happened to Pacey Wygant coming to the green and white checkered flag. On board Pacey Wygant. We went from the lead to 30th. Tried blocking for the stage win. Arnold went up the racetrack. Arnold didn't go back down the racetrack. Wygant just tried to cover him off, and it didn't work. So fair play to Josh Arnold. He didn't try over-undering. He just kept going up the racetrack. And Wygant tried blocking and blocking and blocking, and it never worked. So Pacey Wygant paid the price for trying to block for the extra stage points. And ends up missing out altogether, and now has a lot of work to do. Chad Swatsworth left pit lane as the race leader. Fuel only stopped for a lot of cars, as we expected what might be the case. Davis Moon Jr., Blake Henderson also fuel only for their stops. Billy Thompson took 2 tires on that stop. 4-tire stop for Josh Arnold, Elias Flores, and Brady Smith. And then a mixture of no tires, 2 tires, and 4 tires all the way throughout the field from there. Chad Swatsworth is your race leader at the end of stage number 1. And so with that, we will step aside for a quick refreshment break and come back for more racing in stage 2 here in Daytona. Don't go anywhere. More racing to come after this. Getting ready to jumpstart stage 2 here at Daytona. Chad Swatsworth and Davis Moon Jr. will lead the way on this restart. Only one car out of this race. That being Steven Oberstadt from the first caution back on lap 13. Some scenic sights and sounds here around Daytona International Speedway, here in Daytona Beach, Florida. As we get ready for the restart here. Swatsworth, Smeal, Henderson, Thompson, your top 4. Flores, Arnold, Peach, Smith, Apperson, and Jones. Rounding up your top 10 at the moment as things currently stand. Chad Swatsworth up 22 spots from where he started this race. Remember, won this season's Daytona 500 to open up the season. Would love to sweep here at Daytona. Davis Moon Jr. exactly where he started this race, in second place. Blake Henderson up 6 spots from 9th to 3rd. Up 3 spots for Thompson from 7th to 4th. Josh Arnold up 8 spots from 13th on the grid, now sitting in the top 5. Elias Flores to his outside, started this race in 16th, has gained 10, up to 6th. Pace car will take the left-hand turn down pit lane. And Chad Swatsworth leads us to green. We're back underway here in Daytona. Stage 2 ends on lap 50. Outside lane prevails here. Swatsworth and Henderson, top two. Arnold moving up to third in that 12 car. Keep an eye on him. Did really good in stage one. Finished second in stage one. Actually, no, excuse me, won stage one. Got himself 10 very valuable stage points. Would love to add on to it. See if we can get you some live points here. We don't have a graphic for it. Try to just crunch some numbers if we can. So, bear with us. Arnold peeks to the inside a little bit. Below the yellow line. You cannot advance your position below the yellow line. You got to stay above it. That's the out of bounds line. But you can use that territory to try to breathe some life, breathe some air into the engine. Overheating is a huge concern on these race cars. And everyone trying to just mind themselves of that. Jockeying position throughout the race the field here. Side by side, Swatsworth and Smeal. Smeal with support from Thompson and from Flores, the 99. Swatsworth with support from Henderson and Arnold. And it is a jockeying position, 3 wide for the back. That is Sasek and Kissenweather on the far outside lane. Trying to be extra bold. So far, it's just those two on the very far outside lane up near the wall. And you see the long tail on the inside lane. Everyone's hedged their bets. Henderson and Swatsworth, 2 cars leading the inside lane. 2 of the most tenured drivers in the field. They don't work together very often when it comes to plate races. Both of them renowned in their plate racing. Both of them have won plate races, but have not worked together very often. Billy Thompson drops to the inside lane to try to get to the race lead and try to get around Davis Miller Jr. in the process. Thompson looking for a second race win in her HTL career. But it checked out the inside lane, and it gives Davis Miller Jr. and Elias Flores some pretty good headway. Flores goes to the bottom of the racetrack. He wants to lead a lap, and he wants to lead a line. So Smeal's been abandoned twice in 2 laps. Next one up is Hunter Peach, a 20 car outside in that number 20 sports clip machine. Bit of a throwback for Joe Gibbs Racing. Multiple drivers have run that car. The late Jason Leffler, one of those that drove that car pretty synonymously in the 2000s. Flores and Thompson lead the way on the inside lane now. They shoveled Swatsworth and Henderson down 3rd and 4th on the bottom. Apperson up top behind Peach. And then it's 21 Alfred Denny, podium finisher at Pocono. 2nd place at Pocono. The outside lane, it was pretty dead in the water in stage 1. It's come to life a little bit in stage 2, is what we've seen. jockey positions here, trying to make things happen. Huge pack still. Not quite the breakaways that we saw earlier in this race. Do have a bit of a better idea as to what the points look like. Had to kind of count back the points manually from the stage 1 intermission there. Some interesting changes here. With how stage 1 ended, Davis Mills Jr. up to the 12th spot at the moment as things currently sit, jumping over Cody Pennell. Cody Pennell drops down to the bottom 4 in the playoff running. He currently sits in 14th right now in points. Bailey Thompson 13th in points, Davis Mills Jr. in 12th, Hunter Peach 11th in points, but it's a very close margin. 6 points is the swing gap for Hunter Peach right now between being in the top 12 and being out of it. And trouble! Huge crash on the back straightaway. Smeal's part of it. Apperson is too. Josh Arnold has a lot of damage in the 12 car further back. And we'll follow up on the points conversation in a moment. Over 12 laps to go in stage number 2. And this will get you a little bit of information as to what happened. Davis Mills Jr. is trying to side draft and just straight up hooks the 12 of Josh Arnold. Comes back down across the nose of Apperson. Grabs the 33 of Dale Markowski. Byron Jones gets involved there. Bounces into Alfred Denny. Byron Jones goes for another ride here as he gets tagged by James Wright, it looks like. Yes. A lot of assistance there from Caitlin Height as well, the 61. As everyone goes for a scramble. In real time. Not a whole lot anyone can do there. That starts with Davis Mills Jr. coming down into the quarter panel of Josh Arnold. And riding on board with him, you're going to see it. Just try side drafting, and it goes bad for everyone involved there. Board with Josh Arnold, sitting 5th in line there at the time, and watches the field go by. This could have been a lot worse for him. It could have been. It wasn't great, but it could have been so much worse for Josh Arnold there. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. But that puts a lot of cars behind the 8 ball here in stage 2. Zach Meredith does get the free pass, so he gets his lap back, and he is going to join the field on the lead lap. 34 cars lead lap. Richard Odie, the only car off the lead lap at the moment. Elias Flores leads the way. So right now, Zach Apperson still needs to rely on the wild card. He's the only driver right now that needs to rely on it at the moment. Still 21st in points following stage 1. With the stage 1 points included, your top 16 currently for the playoffs: Mark Kissenweather, Bryn Roberts, Pacey Wygant, Zach Meredith, Tucker Sawyer, Josh Susie, Patrick Oberstadt, Eli Sasek, Blake Henderson, Chad Swatsworth, all in your top 10 there. Hunter Peach in 11th, David Smule in 12th, and then Bailey Thompson, Cody Pinnell, and Steven Oberstadt in the top 15. Zach Apperson jumping ahead of Elias Flores to grab the final playoff spot there. Elias Flores needs to grab a few points here to jump ahead of Steven Oberstadt, who retired early in this race on lap 13. So Oberstadt likely falling out of the top 16 here as things stand. The question is it going to be Elias Flores? Will it be Byron Jones? Will it be Josh Arnold, Willie Sharp, Dustin Hall, Ross Baxter, Alfred Denny? Could it be someone like Dale Markowski? Can he grab a miracle here? We'll find out. Had a lot of different race winners so far this season. We'll see how things stand. Coming to 9 to go when we go back racing here in stage 2. And again, we'll keep an eye on the stage points as we get them. Flores, Thompson, Henderson, Swatsworth, your top 4. Smith and Peach, row 3. Reynolds and Sawyer, row 4. Tommy Reynolds, the 29 car, sitting outside row 4 and 8th. On this restart, remember, he swept the races at Daytona back in season 5. Won both the Daytona 500 and the Firecracker 400. He knows how to win here at Daytona and has done it in HTL. 34 cars lead lap, 35 cars running here at the World Center of Racing for the regular season finale. As we get ready to go back racing, the green flag flies and away we go. Nine to go in stage 2. Good restart there by Flores and by Swatsworth. The Tombstone teammates worked together well. Finished 1-2 at Bristol a week ago. Did not get going on this restart. Got absolutely skunked. Henderson trying to push the 27 of Thompson to no avail. And as the bleeding continues, they will eventually drop out of the top 10. Here comes Reynolds. Side drafts off the 97 of Sawyer. Brady Smith in front of them. Gatekeeping and protecting Chad Swatsworth and Elias Flores. Eight to go in the stage. Car driving back, that was Alfred Denny, one of the Cheez-It cars. Elias Flores, a little bit of latency for the 99 car. Swatsworth keeping that in mind, staying behind him at the moment, but will not be afraid to leave him high and dry. Remember, he is sandwiched between Ascent cars. That is Brady Smith behind him and Tucker Sawyer in 4th. So he is in very enemy territory at this moment. There is going to be a lap car here coming up here, and that is the 78 of Richard Odie, about to go a second lap down after losing the draft. Zach Apperson back down pit lane after damage on that caution back on lap 38. So he is going to indefinitely require the wild card here as Richard Odie limps around on the inside lane. Flores continues to lead the way. Swatsworth in second. And everyone's going to have a pretty good gauge as to who is where, points-wise. By the time this is all said and done in stage 2, everyone doing some mental math here. The easiest way to handle it is just win the race. But only one person can do that. Flores continues to lead. Swatsworth second. Smith third. Here comes Patrick Oberstadt outside lane, the 88 car, sitting in fourth. There's the 8 of Cody Pennell also in tow. Teammates there on the outside lane for Carolina Beagle Racing. Team Ralph trying to charge forward for Cody Pennell. He needs to. He just got bumped from the top 12 in stage 1. So he needs the stage points. And he knows right now Davis Muir Jr. is in 21st. He cannot respond at the moment. He's middle 3 wide with damage. Patrick Oberstadt safely in the playoffs. Cody Pennell, not so much. Four to go in stage 2. Apperson still on pit lane. Excuse me, just back out on the racetrack. There he is. He just reached on the racetrack. But he is 6 laps down and counting. Flores leads. Swatsworth second. Brady Smith third. Patrick Oberstadt trying to challenge with support from his teammate, Cody Pennell. Tommy Reynolds also in line. Blake Henderson fourth in line. And then there's Byron Jones. A little bit of separation, side drafting, separating the top 2 on the inside lane. Here comes Patrick Oberstadt. Here comes Cody Pennell. Patrick Oberstadt leads and drops to the inside lane. How much does he sandbag? Whoa, hip check. Reynolds to Swatsworth. Swatsworth still trying to save it. And there they go. Huge crash. Stage 2 ends. Swatsworth got hip checked by Reynolds. And that is a pretty close big one. Patrick Oberstadt wins stage 1. And it looks like Cody Pennell grabs second place in stage 2 is what we're talking about here. I do apologize for the confusion there. Blake Henderson fifth behind Flores and Reynolds. And we'll grab replays here in a moment as we wait for confirmation. Stage 2 comes to a close. Grab a replay of what happened here to the 6th, Chad Swatsworth, who held on enough to end up in 10th place after all of that. And you see the caution sort of already started there. So let's take a look and see what happened here. Looking through the replay. Everyone trying the jockey position here. That looks like a little bit of latency here. Reynolds was phased inside the 29. And it looked like he hip checked Swatsworth. Swatsworth reacted independently. Reynolds never touched him. Swatsworth just reacted expecting a crash, and it never happened. Latency also tags the 95 and begins turning the 60. And there you see the damage there. Smith, Sasek, Peach, all in the fence there. Guessing whether involved in another incident there. So is Callie Height. 00 Pacey Wygen involved. Bailey Thompson tries locking up the brakes to avoid getting involved. To no avail there. David Smith Jr. gets a piece of it. And looks like he gets a bigger piece here. 100% he does. And everyone tries scrambling. Flowers gets a piece of it. It's overall a huge bit of contact there. And unfortunately, that's going to make points very difficult to calculate as we try to. That being said, we will step aside for just a moment for a word from one of our sponsors here for the HTL Cup Series. Stay tuned. More racing to come in Stage 3 here in the Firecracker 400. Welcome back, everyone, to the Firecracker 400. Stage 2 in the books, Stage 3 not far away. Let's try to calculate numbers here. Bear with us a second. We're just trying to calculate the points as they were. That way we understand where everyone's at right now for Stage 3 and the end of the race. Pretty close numbers at the moment. This is unofficial. This is all unofficial math here at the moment. Locked in right now in the top 12 currently. Kissenweather, Roberts, Wygant, Meredith, Sawyer, Susie, Overstapp, Sasek, Henderson, Slotsworth, Peach, and Smeal. Sorry, and Cody Pinnell. Excuse me. Cody Pinnell moves up back into the top 12. Moves up to 11th ahead of Hunter Peach. As we get ready to go back racing here at Daytona. But the margin is now less than 5 points between being locked in and being out. Green flag flies and away we go. Patrick Oberstadt leads the way here in Stage 3. to complete lap 52. 48 laps to go. Patrick Overstat looking for a win here at Daytona. Ahead of Markowski and Flores, your top three. Lily Sharp has moved her way back to the top five, sitting fourth ahead of Josh Susie. Lily Sharp now in must-win territory. 20th in points right now. And the margin to get in is 24 points. And that's to try to leapfrog ahead of Elias Flores, who is ahead of her right now on the racetrack. And it gets harder the further up you go. You cannot bounce out Bailey Thompson. Davis Muir Jr. Almost a full race ahead in that 13th points position. So Lily Sharp practically in a must-win situation right now as things stand. In 20th, Josh Arnold not far away from being in the same boat. Byron Jones has some work ahead of him. He has to try to gain 10 points on Elias Flores. But it's possible. That is doable. Davis Muir Jr. feeling safer and safer, but not locked in. Likewise, neither's Hunter Peach. Hunter Peach sitting in 12th, Cody Pinnell in 11th place in points right now going into this final stage. Nobody locked in other than those that were locked in going into this race to begin with. So no one secured their spot yet. Outside lane has come to life here in stage. It came to life in stage 2. It is roaring pretty well here in stage 3. Patrick Overstat continues to lead the way. Good Pinnell in second. They get clear to the bottom of the racetrack. They've been working hard on that. They still feel like the inside lane's the place to be. And they could be right. Dale Markowski, third in line. Teammates first, second, and third. Gives a little bit of a buffer. Markowski, a win could push him in to the playoffs. And there is a world where Markowski winning and Cody Pinnell being second at the finish of this race would be a best-case scenario for Carolina Beagle Racing, which would help put 4 of those cars in the top 16 for the playoffs. But here comes Tucker Sawyer, looking for his first oval win. Support from Alfred Denny, who is also in a win to get in. Tommy Reynolds could play spoiler. He is not playoff eligible. And would you look at Alfred Denny, the 21 car on a mission out to the front, looking for help he will not get. Denny has to wait for the 91 of Blowers to get to him. And there's a lot of jockeying for position the further back you look. Flores, Markowski, Sharp, Sasek, Thompson, all jockeying for position further back as well. Roberts leads the way, Reynolds second. Side by side for third. Sawyer's got the advantage on the inside lane over Alfred Denny. Alfred Denny, one of many that are win to get in now. If they're going to try to be in the playoffs for Alfred Denny, the win to get in is the highest stakes imaginable. Alfred Denny has not yet won a race in his HTL Cup Series career in points competition. He's won a couple of charity races, a couple of exhibitions, but not a point-paying event. Flowers shuffled outside by Swatsworth. He will fall back. Inside lane pulling away as the outside lane toils and stares. in its own misery. Again, for those that are just now tuning in, those in the light blue, the cyan color, are already locked in to the HTL Cup Series playoffs. Those in red not eligible to be playoffs. Those in blue fighting for a chance to make the playoffs. 12 already locked in. There's 4 spots up for grabs. Of the 12 already locked in, 2 locked in just on points without a race win. That was Tucker Sawyer and Eli Sasek. They did not need a race win to get locked in. Coming to 40 laps to go in the Firecracker 400 and the regular season. Car about to be lapped, that is the 60 of Byron Jones. He was at a very unfortunate race, now sitting 2 laps down, almost 3 laps down by the time he is caught by the leaders. He will force the leaders to go outside lane to get around him. And now Byron Jones, his slim chance of making the playoffs going into tonight at 3 laps down, practically over. And caution is out, and it is a huge crash further behind. And that is actually a segment. There's an even larger field of crashes further back. That's the 81 of Tristan Bayer. 91 of Blowers involved again. Looks like Blake Henderson involved. Looks like Pacey Wygen involved as well. So another caution, the 5th one of the night. And we'll take a look at what happened here. And it looks like it is Meredith getting turned off the nose of Pereira. It looks like. Wygant goes nose first into the safety barrier. His race effectively done. Callie Hyde involved for the 3rd time. Also gets sent nose first into the outside wall. Henderson gets turned. Denny gets turned. Byron Jones gets collected again. Gets sent almost airborne by Tristan Bayer. Josh Arnold gets a piece of it. Brady Smith gets close but avoids it. And I am going to back it up a little bit here on this replay, because I want to focus on the 96 of Pereira here to see if there's any legitimate contact here, if it was netcode. Running on board with Pereira here, I'm going to back it up a little bit further. Pushing Meredith, the 17. Big bump there. Secondary bump. That's an unusual one. Obviously, Pereira gets smacked. And gets smacked again. That is, I think, Davis Milne Jr. It is Davis Milne Jr. He gets a piece of it. Sends Meredith into the corner, and Meredith just got loose. That's unusual. We talk about open setups. Maybe Meredith was having handling issues in that 17 car, and Pereira was not aware of it. Right on board with Meredith, see if we can get anything from his onboard here. A lot of cars taking this opportunity to come down pit lane. They are not safe fuel-wise to get to the end of the race. So this has not helped them avoid a pit stop yet. Meredith just gets loose. Just gets loose into 3. Not a whole lot anyone can do there in that situation. That's something that's pretty normal, typically. You give a couple shots, push them into the corner, because you're hoping that they can carry enough momentum to carry them out of the corner so you can hook back up and cool your engine down in the corner all the same. It's a very common tactic. Nothing Pereira did wrong there, and I can't really tell anything that Meredith did wrong. Just the handling fell away from him. That was a very normal situation that became very abnormal. Tristan Bear among several cars on pit lane for damage repairs, and a lot of cars about to go a lap down here. Brent Roberts continues to lead over Cody Pennell, Del Markowski, and Lily Sharp as a couple of free passes take place here. We are down to 26 cars on the lead lap. Blake Henderson, Alfred Denny, Zach Meredith, Olivia Pereira, all a lap down. Pacey Wyden's day is done. Byron Jones' day, from bad to worse, collected in that incident as well. Zach Apperson still rolling. Jason Scott still rolling. Mark Kissenweather's day effectively done. We always been talking about Stephen Oberstadt, the first retirement of this race back in lap 13. Did not get to see the checkered flag in stage 1. 26 cars still rolling on the racetrack at this time. Gary Donaldson will end up being the last car on the lead lap. He's coming in and topping off fuel right now. With less than 40 to go, we'll be going green with 36 laps to go on this restart. Our 6th caution of the night. '96 camp, Olivia Pereira confirming too much damage, day done. And Pereira, who was in a must-win N+ to try to get into the playoffs, will not have the chance to do so. With cars still circulating, Pereira will end up cycling down as it sits to 33rd or 34th on the racetrack by the time this is said and done. As we get ready to go racing, the green flag flies, away we go. Carolina Beagle Racing all over the top 10 here at Daytona right now. But this was the case in the 500 to open up the season, and none of them walked away with that race. Can they redeem themselves here in the Firecracker? It is 4 cars in a line. Roberts, Cody Pennell, Dale Markowski, Patrick Oberstadt. Say Gary Donaldson is also at the front. That is far from the case. I do want that to be clear. Nowhere close. I think our overlay is broken a little bit, so we'll try to fix it. Brent Roberts, Cody Pennell, Dale Markowski, Patrick Oberstadt. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Team Ralph. Brady Smith in 5th. Here comes Tommy Reynolds, outside lane, the 29 car, filling in for Austin Mongold. Reynolds with support from the 1 of Dustin Hall and the 97 of Tucker Sawyer. See if he makes some inroads here. Last two took away outside lane, fell apart there pretty harshly behind Tommy Reynolds. Outside lane largely playing with house money there. Tarkin Sawyer already locked in, doesn't need a race win, and Tommy Reynolds not playoff eligible. So the outside lane just kind of died out. Front of the field, though, could get very, very intense as it sits. Right now, as it sits, Cody Pennell is in the playoffs here. And Lily Sharp is out. That is first and sixth right now. Brady Smith would also be out of the playoffs. But Brady Smith entered this race as a must-win. It had to win to have a chance. Elias Flores. Right now, Flores is in. Right now, Flores is in the playoffs for the first time in his career. Eli Sasek, he's locked in already, based purely on points. Hunter Peach, right now, not in a comfy spot, but would still be in the playoffs. Remember, you're measuring to those outside the playoffs. Byron Jones out. Josh Arnold in trouble, 17th place. Lily Sharp in 6th can be a threat. If you're someone like Hunter Peach, if you're someone like Elias Flores, like Davis Muir Jr. right now especially, what you don't need is a new winner. You do not need Dale Markowski winning this race. You do not need Dustin Hall winning this race. You need it to be someone that's already in the top 16 right now. You need someone like Flores to win, or someone like maybe Cody Pennell grabs a race win here. Brent Roberts could grab another race win. Maybe Patrick Oberstadt. If Dale Markowski wins, as it sits right now, Davis Muir Jr. is out of the playoffs. That is how it looks right now. That is a pretty quick exchange. Pretty well 1-for-1 there. If Markowski wins, Davis Muir Jr. is out. It has become pretty clear with how this race has played out, how things are going to go. Byron Jones right now, he was on the outside looking in going into this race, being multiple laps down. His chance of making the playoffs, practically none. Lily Sharp doing everything she can right now, sitting right now 6th in line on the inside lane. Teammates 1, 2, 3, and 4. She is outnumbered and outgunned at the moment. And she's behind somebody that she's racing against to try to get in to the playoffs. Brady Smith. Both of them are must win. Dale Markowski must win. Lily Sharp on the back foot as a driver who has never won on an oval in HTL. Pretty hard obstacle to overcome. .33 points is the gap between Sharp and Davis Muir Jr. As things sit right now, she does not have it. It's Davis Muir Jr. 15. She does not have that number. On a practical level, without Davis Muir being the next driver to be in line to retire from this race, it's going to be very hard for Sharp to jump ahead of him. Not impossible, because again, a race win would do it. Everyone right now sitting and riding. We talked about the fuel mileage. 28 to 31 laps under green is a tank of fuel in these HTL Cup Series cars. Everyone pit on lap 62, or for those that came in and topped off on lap 63. That is a decent amount of fuel that they have to save if they can. Your high numbers, 31 laps, they pit and realistically have to go 37 laps on a tank of fuel. They've got to save 6 laps, if not more. And you cannot do that from the front of the field. You're looking at the drivers leading the way. They know they've got a pit stop coming up. Bren Roberts, Cody Pennell, Dale Markowski, Patrick Oberstadt, the teammates there, first through fourth. They know they've got a pit stop. I would assume, you're likely assuming that Brady Smith and Lily Sharp also know that there's a pit stop their way. 25 laps to go. When do you make that stop? It's a fuel-only stop. You will, if you pit with somebody, if you pit with traffic, you will not go a lap down on a fuel-only stop. Gary Donaldson about to go another lap down. He gets off the racetrack and out of the way. Donaldson just trying to stay out of trouble. He's seen his teammates get in nothing but trouble today. He's trying to stay out of it. For those wondering, try to saving fuel, there's a reason it's single file at the moment. But I'm not convinced anybody on the lead lap right now is safe. I'm not convinced. Like, if you're looking at someone that might save enough fuel, you're looking at Caitlin Height, you're looking at Tommy Reynolds. You're looking at drivers that dropped out of the top 10, dropped to the tail of this lead lap line, trying to save fuel. That's who you're looking at the moment. You look at potentially, you look at someone like Thompson or Arnold sitting mid-pack right now, knowing that they're not running full throttle. But again, 6 laps of fuel is a lot of fuel to try to save. And here comes pit stops. Here you go. Did Cody Pennell just speed, though? That is a very big question. Did Cody Pennell just speed? Race control says no. No penalty for Cody Pennell. We'll see if that holds true. And it does. Drivers in and out of pit lane. Markowski, Pennell, Roberts, Oberstadt, teammates in and out of pit lane. They are good. And they exit pit lane. Car on his own coming down pit lane. Odie. Bails this time on his own. Dustin Hall, I think, made a mistake. He took tires on this stop. He took tires on this stop. He will go a lap down. And he will be alone in that process. 4 cars together. They're trying to wait up for Patrick Oberstadt. 4 cars better than 3. They're working on it, and they've got space. They're not in threat of going a lap down right now. But they need to get they need to get something put together here. Brady Smith goes to the front of the field. The pace is picked up in this lead pack. Smith, Flores, Sasek, top 3, all Ascent cars. Trying to do what Eli did a year ago at this race, when he grabbed his first career HTL Cup Series victory. Last season, Sasek needed to win this race to be in the playoffs. He's already locked in tonight. Brady Smith and Elias Flores are racing for their playoff hopes. Does anyone blink this time for pit lane? Not from the lead group. They do not. 4 cars in this line. They are closing the gap on the race leaders. Keep an eye on this group of 4. That is the most put together group on the racetrack at the moment, and they are full push to the end. Ascent's trying to cover off what's about to happen. Because the belief right now is that everyone in the top 18 must pit within the next 19 laps. They cannot get the full 100 without another stop. And here they come. And here comes the traffic jam on pit lane. The I-95 corridor is shut. And Swatra tags the wall, locked up the brakes. Eleven cars came down pit lane there. Lily Sharp, Josh Susi, Davis Muir Jr., teammates for NFG Motorsports, stayed out. Josh Arnold stayed out. Caitlin Height stayed out. Hunter Peach stayed out. Angel Santiago stayed out. They're coming in very, very soon. They could come down this lap. The question is, do they? They do not. Look at this group trying to soar around here. They're going to need to go topside, and they will. Richard Odie tagging along with this group. He is a lap down. But this worked out pretty well. The Team Ralph cars, Carolina Beagle Racing cars, at full song. Eli Sasick blocked Dale Markowski. Top 7 still yet to pit. Sasick was trying the best that he could to prevent Dale Markowski from winning the race, because if Markowski wins, it could get very spicy. If Markowski wins, Brady Smith has no chance, and Flores is in danger. Both Flores and Davis Muir Jr. are in danger. And now there's team help at the front of the field. Brady Smith jumps to the outside lane. Flores didn't go with him. Flores thought of position. Right now, what he's got is what is helping him right now in this fight against Davis Muir Jr. Stay in line. Stay right now behind the Team Ralph cars, the Carolina Beagle Racing cars. Stay behind Bryn Roberts right now. And that'll help you get into the playoffs. That'll help you race ahead of Davis Muir Jr. and get into the playoffs. And caution's out. Caution is out. What happened here? Trying to see what happened. Was it Gary Donaldson? No. Caution is somewhere around here. We're trying to see where it was. Where was this caution? We're trying to find where this caution is real quick. Again, bear with us. Where did this caution come from? The 7th caution of the race. We're not seeing where this caution came from. Saying Byron Jones, whose day has been from bad to worse. And that might be because he immediately towed. Yeah, but here's why. Byron Jones trying to leave pit lane, and that's what everyone was trying to avoid. So Byron Jones, no good, very bad day, got worse. And so those that stayed out will now bite the bullet pretty hard. Those cars all had to come down pit lane. So Dale Markowski leads the way, 7th caution of the race here in Daytona with less than 15 to go. We are at 14 to go right now. Dale Markowski, he'll be leading his first laps of the race when they come around the start-finish line here. Bryn Roberts has led 20 laps today. And very important here, started this race down in 19th place, currently up to 2nd. Dale Markowski started top 10, started this race in 8th. Elias Flores from 16th to 3rd. He's done a good job. Tommy Reynolds from 34th to 4th. Not doing too awful bad himself. Brady Smith from 22nd to 5th. Lily Frazier. Wrong one. There's 2 Lilies in the field. Lily Frazier, 71 car, not playoff eligible, as you can tell with the red. 37th to 6th, up 31 spots. Tucker Sawyer in 7th. From 26th on the grid, Chad Swatsworth, your Daytona 500 race winner, trying to go for the Daytona sweep. He is in 8th after starting this race down in 23rd. Bailey Thompson has been top 10 most of the race. Qualified 7th, currently 9th. Score points back in stage 1. Finished 7th. Finished 7th in stage 1. Took me a second to finish that up. Patrick Oberstadt, so far the winningest driver this season. Started this race top 3. Separated from his teammates there a little bit. He is sitting in the 10th spot ahead of Cody Pennell, with Hunter Peach in 12th outside row 6. 23 cars on the lead lap is how things currently sit. Dustin Hall gets the wave around, as does Jason Scott and Zach Apperson. But Dustin Hall on the lead lap now gives us 23 cars to do so. Get a reminder for the HTL Cup Series competition. We're off next Monday, this upcoming weekend. Instead, we have qualifying for the Winstel 400, the 14th annual Winstel 400. We hope to see you there. That'll be all in play for January 4th Winstel 400-mile race. All that here on ABN. But HTL will take the holiday break off, and we'll see you again after tonight. We'll see you on January 5th for the Southern 500 and the start of the HTL Cup Series playoffs. We'll be going green with 12 laps to go here in Daytona. As we open the show here tonight in tribute to Greg Biffle, who won his first career Cup Series race here at Daytona, the Pepsi 400 back in 2003. Several drivers looking for their first HTL Cup Series race win here in the Firecracker tonight as well. Dale Markowski, Elias Flores, Brady Smith, Willie Frazier, all in line to try to win a race for the first time. The green flag flies and away we go. 7th restart underway. Markowski and Reynolds got clear from the outside lane. No doubt Reynolds working with Bryn Roberts and Dale Markowski. Reynolds not playoff eligible. That 29 car for Austin Mongold's team is. Sideswipe Racing could have a car in the playoffs for the owner's side. So Reynolds is racing for something here. But how much is that going to usurp the camaraderie there between Sideswipe and between Carolina Beagle Racing? That's the important question that I think is being asked at this point here. Huge separation on the restart. Slims down the group to 2 packs. It seems pretty fitting. The amount of cars with damage so far in this race kind of plays well on that. Flores trying to work with Brady Smith at the moment, but they've opened the door up. Here comes Tucker Sawyer and Bailey Thompson. Ascent's trying to line up the outside lane. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to line up the outside lane, but the inside lane just keeps coming. There's Patrick Oberstadt. There's Cody Pinnell. Bailey Thompson's there as well. Ascent's trying to do something that they've not been able to effectively do most of the race, and that's run the outside lane. We'll see if they can here. Again, right now it's house money. Right now, Elias Flores is in the playoffs. Davis Muir Jr. is out, and Markowski win would secure that. If Markowski doesn't win, then both Smeal and Flores are in. Pretty straightforward on that one. If there's a new winner outside the top 16 in points, Davis Muir Jr. right now is the odd one out. And he is not in this lead pack. At least I don't believe he is. I could be wrong on that. I am not wrong. I am correct on that. He is not in this lead pack. James Wright, the last car on lead lap, in the lead pack. And then it's about 4.5 seconds back to Smeal and Caitlin Height, 20th and 21st. There is a straggler in this lead pack who is not on the lead lap. That is Gary Donaldson, the 22. That's the National Guard car. It is a stalemate right now. The Ascent cars have not been able to make a lot of headway at the moment. There's going to be a lot of side drafting that happens here in the last 7 laps. I'd be remiss at the moment. Dale Markowski, as we pointed out during the starting grid, is in the paint scheme, the throwback to the Pepsi 400 race win back in 03. That's that Granger 33 car leading the way. Something symbolic if he can pull it off. But I also think about the symbolism in that 29 car, that AC Delco machine that has seen so much success at the hands of drivers like Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick. Harvick, a 2-time Busch Series champion in that AC Delco car. Dale Earnhardt Jr., a 2-time Busch Series champion in that AC Delco car. One of the most successful Busch Series machines ever. The outside lane struggling still with 6 laps to go. We know how Daytona goes. We know what's possible at the end of this race. So hold your breath. A caution right now sets us into overtime. If we can get to the white flag, we've seen the no man's land that comes from it. What are we going to get? Outside lane is faltering. Sawyer's dropped out of the top 5. Everyone trying to scramble, trying to make some inroads here. The inside lane is the protected lane. And Carolina Beagle Racing knew that. They tried stacking the decker there on the inside lane. Tommy Reynolds is pushing his life depends on it right now on the 33 car. Because here comes a chance and an opportunity. Tommy Reynolds dropped to the inside lane. Looks like a little bit of latency there. And just dropped out of the way. Something happened there with Reynolds. We're not sure what. But Bryn Roberts was there to pick up the pieces. Thompson now third in line on the inside lane. And Sawyer, as quickly as he was able to get level with the race leader, has fallen right back to the status quo. 4 to go. In the inside lane, once again moving forward. Oberstadt now level with Sawyer. Bryn Roberts, as much as he would love to win this race, he has said so many times, get as many teammates as possible into the playoffs. Patrick Oberstadt's already in. Bryn Roberts already in, locked in. Cody Pennell right now, as it sits, is in the playoffs. Markowski right now is the only one of the group on this group that is out of the playoffs looking in. And all 4 of those cars are in the inside lane right now. That's what Ascent Racing has to fight against. The wild card in this group right now is Bailey Thompson. But Bailey Thompson is in the worst position. 2 cars in front, 2 cars behind, all teammates with each other, not teammates with Thompson. Josh Arnold would love to mix things up. Right now, he's out of the playoffs. And a Markowski win ensures that. 2 laps to go, 5 miles. Arnold goes topside, gets ahead of Sawyer. He's got to swing for the fences here. Do you bend or do you hold the line? That is the question for Bryn Roberts and Dale Markowski. Bailey Thompson can't rock the boat now. Boxed in. Out of 4. Coming to the white flag. Who's going to win the Firecracker 400? 1 lap to go, presented by Southern Cleaning Company. Will it be Markowski? Will it be Josh Arnold? Are we going to get a wild card? They scramble behind. But this race will get to the finish. We will finish under regulation. Who's got it? Down the back straightaway for the final time. Markowski with support from his teammate Bryn Roberts. The strange bedfellows on the outside lane. It is Arnold and Sawyer. Out of 4 for the last time in the regular season in 2025, side by side. Here they come, drag race to the line. Who's it gonna be? Josh Arnold! Arnold wins! Arnold's in the playoffs. In an incredible photo finish. He denies Dale Markowski. And he grabs a second crown jewel after winning the Brickyard a season ago. Dale Markowski falls 1 spot short of the playoffs. Josh Arnold is playoff bound and a race winner once again. And all three Militia Racing Club cars are in the playoffs for the second straight season. Dale Markowski fell so close, but also so far away. Huge bumps there from his teammate Chad Swafford in the 6th, and from Blake Henderson in the 25, who won last weekend in Bristol. They will battle for a championship in the new year. Bren Roberts and Dale Markowski gave it everything they could. But Josh Arnold did just enough at the end of that race to keep championship ambitions alive and do the unthinkable. Your winning moment for Josh Arnold, who led 3 laps tonight. And with that, Davis Mills Jr. is out of the playoffs, finishing 19th tonight. Elias Flores leaped ahead of him, finishing 6th. A great-looking car there for Josh Arnold, who grabs the checkered flag for the second time in his Cup Series career. We'll hear from the podium finishers here in just a moment. We will also go over the results. That is the pertinent information on the day. Josh Arnold, Dale Markowski, Bren Roberts, the 3 drivers we'll hear from on our podium interviews. Tucker Sawyer, 4th place, ahead of Bailey Thompson, who finished top 5. Elias Flores in 6th. Patrick Oberstadt, Brady Smith, Cody Pennell, and Eli Sasek finishing out your top 10. Ahead of Shad Swatsworth and Hunter Peach, who finished 11th and 12th here tonight. Bobby Blowers, 13th, ahead of Angel Santiago, who grabbed one of his season best finishes so far in his 14th spot for the 16 car. Josh Susie in 15th place, 16th for Lily Sharp. Louis Frazier in 17th place, James Wright 18th ahead of Davis Mills Jr. And Caitlin Height, your pole sitter, ends up in 20th at the end of the day today. Dustin Hall 21st, Tommy Reynolds, Tristan Bayer, and Richard Odie, the top 24. Then you have Gary Donaldson, Alfred Denny, Zach Apperson, Blake Henderson, Jason Scott, Byron Jones, and in some of your retirements here, Callie Height, Olivia Pereira, Pacey Wygant, Zach Meredith, Mark Kissenweather, and Stephen Oberstadt. Only 6 retirements at the end of this race in a 7-caution affair here at the World Center of Racing. We'll get ready for interviews here in just a moment. Let's bear with us for 1 second as we get everything ready to go for those post-race interviews, and we'll verify the playoff drivers for when we get into the new year in Darlington. Welcome back, everyone, to Daytona International Speedway. Wild stuff here at Daytona. Everyone sort of just dissecting how this race played out here tonight in a wild turn of events. We'll talk to our opponent finishers here in just a second. We'll start with third place Bryn Roberts here tonight, who tried extremely hard to push Dale Markowski into the playoffs here and fell just inches short here tonight. Bryn, walk us through that race for you. Obviously, the objective became very clear in stage 3 with both Cody Pennell and Dale Markowski trying to race into the playoffs. Cody Pennell, based on the math I've got right now, did make it in, but Dale Markowski falls just one spot short. Walk us through that.
Yeah, that is a little bit different of a position because, you want to help your teammates. I normally try to race plate tracks a little selfish, but in that case, you got to do what you got to do. We were lined up right there. We got lined up good. People started complaining, saying we were brake checking the line or whatever. If anybody wants our telemetry, they can reach out because, their only win this season was finishing behind a CBR car. But yeah, I really want to get Dale a win. Dale was a great teammate all year. And he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. He's had a lot of unfortunate events happen this season to him. So I really wanted that for him. I'm not bummed out that Arnold got the win. That's been a lot of clean racing with Arnold this year. So either one of them was great, but I wish it would have been Dale.
Obviously, teamwork making the dream work there. You still have several cars in the playoffs going into the new year here. Obviously, you and Patrick pretty well locked up early on with those race wins that you were grabbing in bunches. Cody Pennell joining you as well in there gives some pretty good odds for Carolina Beagle Racing going into the round of 16 here. You get to shift focus a little bit. Now it's full set of sail on trying to go and grab a championship here. Darlington in a couple weeks. What's the confidence looking like for that team? Knowing that and now this is what everyone's been working towards, try to work on getting that championship.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we come out here and we try to enjoy our nights and, have fun racing, and we don't really want to get into all the drama and all the, stuff that goes on. Other people love to pull us into that or make comments over race comms or whatever. So that's noted, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing and, not play into that as best as we can. I know some of my former teammates had issues with that, but they had good reasons for speaking up like they did. So we'll just move on how we did and see what happens. And I'm not spending 17 hours per week on this like other people. So we'll see what happens. I probably won't win, but we'll see what happens.
Darlington in 2 weeks. There's a week off for Christmas and New Year's in between for the HTL Cup Series. Bryn Roberts looking at being one of the odds-on favorites to make the championship 8 and fight for the championship once we get into February. Before we let you go, obviously we're going to talk to Dale Markowski and grab his thoughts from his first podium in HTL. Before we let you go, though, and let you obviously sort of debrief and get through go through the race and get ready for Darlington in 2 weeks, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on an amazing regular season so far, and obviously more work to go. Really, the work just now getting started.
Yeah, thanks to you for the broadcast. They're always fun to go back and look at. Thanks to all my teammates, both current and former. Shout out to Dale for the race that he ran tonight. Cody ran a great race. Patrick ran a great race. Tommy ran a great race. Unfortunately, he had some internet issues, but yeah, we all came out and had fun, which is our goal in this league, is to have fun. So, yeah.
A great job for Bryn Roberts here, moving on to the playoffs here firmly in the round of 16 once we get to Darlington in 14 days' time. Bryn Roberts, P3. We'll talk to his teammate here in just a moment. Bryn Roberts, congratulations again on the podium here in Daytona.
Thank you.
And we'll move right on along to a driver getting his first podium in HTL, a second place. It was nearly the Cinderella story for Dale Markowski in the 33 car, in a car that was inspired by the 2003 Pepsi 400 car won by Greg Biffle. Obviously, everyone racing with heavier hearts than what we saw at Bristol a week ago. Dale walks through that race. Obviously, very symbolic having that car out front for as long as it was. But walk us through just sort of how the race played out for you, because you had some work to do despite having one of the better cars for the team tonight.
Yeah, this race was something. I mean, first and foremost, rest in peace to Greg Biffle. That was just, that was a tragedy what happened. And shout out to David Smeal for putting that scheme together very last minute for me. So, I mean, that's just, it was a tragedy what happened. But um, tonight's race, that was just, I think, sums up Super Speedway race. And I had saved enough to come out first in my group on that pit stop. And when that happened, it just kind of put me to the front, and I had a really good teammate in Bren Roberts and Tommy Reynolds behind me, just helping me out. So I didn't really do much. It was just I told them over the team radio, like, I'm holding this yellow line, and we're just going to see what happens. And maybe in the last lap, I should have come up to block Arnold, but typically when you throw those last lap blocks, you're going to go around. And so I was like, I got a teammate behind me. I just want to see what happens if they can push me to the win. And I think that just side come to the trial usually wins out in these races. But at the same time, I just, I had a plan. We stuck to it and took second. There's just not much else you can say about it. Congratulations to Josh Arnold, but has not been the season I wanted for CBR and the 33 car. I just haven't been able to really get in my own way, but definitely excited about a second place finish. It sucks to finish second, but at the same time, it's, I'm not going to complain about it either. So.
Obviously, the teamwork making the dream work there. It was all about trying to get as many of the team Ralph cars in as possible. Falling one spot short, obviously a bit of a bummer, but obviously this sort of kind of gets you back to where you were last season. We saw the pace in the 33 car when you jumped in. You were like the bad news bearer of the group. While Patrick and Bren were trying to carry the team around. That carried on big time this season. And this feels like the first time where you've actually been able to grab a result this season that shows the pace that this car has had most of the season. What do you take of that looking at the playoffs here, looking to try to play spoiler and maybe try to just mix it up there and try to help your teammates as they try to get through?
Yeah, obviously anything I can do to help my teammates, get good finishes and advance in the playoffs is what is going to be the top priority. I don't know. There's been a couple things going on behind the scenes in my own head, and then a couple other things going on where it's just I've kind of been in my own way. So I think that factors into a lot of why I've been, bad luck this year. There's a couple things I personally need to clean up. So I'm hoping Stephen will have me back next year in this ride if he chooses to do so. But throughout the remainder of the playoffs, I'm just hoping I could show top 15 pace is where I feel like is a reasonable goal for myself remaining. Obviously there's things that happen that, are outside of your control. You're going to have that when, stock car racing. There's just really nothing you can do about that. But tonight I feel like I just shows just be predictable, maintain a solid line, and people will follow you. Hoping that if I just race like that the rest of the season, the results will come. I'm not going to do anything completely crazy. If I can do anything to help my teammates, obviously, like I said, I will do that. But my goal is just to maintain a solid pace the rest of the season and not mess up any of the playoff drivers, but also show that hey, I can run up there, and that next season I'll be coming for playoffs.
Dale Markowski looking good tonight in a tribute car. We see that on the screen right now. The 33, the Granger machine, very much symbolic of Greg Biffle's first win here at Daytona. Dale Markowski almost did the exact same thing here tonight, finishing second in the Firecracker 400. Before we let you go and obviously let you get ready for Christmas coming up in 3 days, and obviously New Year's after that, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on an incredible race here tonight in Daytona. Amazing teamwork on display and a first career podium for Dale Markowski here at Daytona.
Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it. Shout out to you and everything that you do for the series, and just iRacing as a whole. Got to give a shout out to my family as well. That is something that I'm looking forward to spending the holidays with them. I got my two cats. What's it called? Falling at the wheel right now, so I probably need to go play with them for a second. But I can't forget Steven Oberstadt for giving me this ride as well. So he's put up a lot with this year with CBR, and he's kept me in the ride when there's probably times where he probably should have booted me. So I got to give him a shout out as well. But For those that are watching, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have an enjoyable time, everyone.
A phenomenal attempt here by Dale Markowski. Second place here and the Firecracker 400, almost pulling off the ultimate Cinderella story here at the World Center of Racing. We'll see him again in 2 weeks for this HTL Southern 500. Dale Markowski, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll move along to the man of the hour who is collecting crown jewel races like they're infinity stones. Josh Arnold, after winning his first career HTL Cup Series race in the Brickyard 400 last season, grabs the Firecracker 400 this season and punches his ticket into the playoffs, joining his teammates in that group. Mark Kissenweather, Shad Swadsworth in the playoffs from their race wins. Josh Arnold gets to add to it here tonight at Daytona. Josh Arnold, walk us through it because you had to put it all on the line to try to make that outside lane work. Very similar to how Daytona went earlier to open up the season. It was very reminiscent here. The inside lane was the lane to be in, and you were not in that lane. Walk us through it.
Just happened to be the luck of the draw. I mean, the outside didn't have a good, kind of had, maybe cooling their engines off before the last few laps there, and the inside lane just happened to get a nice little run there. I kind of helped out. I pushed that top five as much as I could to be able to clear Tucker there on the outside. But that was my move. I mean, I was boxed in, nowhere to go those, previous 10 or so laps before that while we were under green. And then it just opened, and I can't thank Ascent and Tucker and whoever was behind him enough. I didn't breathe those last couple of laps, and I think Tucker didn't breathe either, pushing me. So, but no, just random. I don't know how I just pulled these out at the end. Indianapolis was just, I don't even know how that happened. I don't know how Daytona happened, but I mean, I'm glad the winner gets interviewed last because I mean, I just caught my breath like 2 minutes ago. So
this was, and obviously a lot of changes this season. It's been a talking point in the HTL community and in the garage area. It's been a talking point, obviously, during the races as well as teams try to figure things out. The change from fixed setup to open setup, the removal of the fast repair, and everything else that's come with it. Obviously, the team's still done well. Mark has a race win. Shad Swadsworth opened the season with a race win at Daytona, a race he had never won in HTL. Obviously, you grab a race win here. Militia Racing Club, a very firm opponent to the open setup rule, now has two of the, I think actually all three wins were open setup wins, if I'm not mistaken, with Shad winning Daytona. Despite that, is it feeling like the team is beginning to figure out the open setup?
I think it's bringing the team together. We're talking different, obviously we're deep into the setups, working on them during the week and just bringing us together. It's bringing out more practice in us. So that's something that, as a mortgage loan officer, I don't have usually a whole lot of time to do, but it's bringing out some practice, bringing out different tips and stuff like that. We're researching. But yeah, and then, hey, push comes to shove. We also have a alliance with Angel Santiago, Byron Jones, Zach Meredith, who has some wins as well. So overall, our group has really kind of excelled during this run of not saying that we're going to keep it up, but I feel confident that every week we're going to have something because Mark and Shad and Zach Meredith, I mean, they were all up at the front no matter what setup, no setup, whatever, they're going to race up at the front. And then you had, I think the setups has actually helped me, Byron, Angel somewhat. So I think the turning point in the season is kind of that. Now, I have struggled as far as getting good finishes, and that's what put me in a position where I made moves that I normally wouldn't have made at a plate track. I'm usually just chill, get what I can get, and get out of there. And usually it's outside the top 20. So, and I mean, because even the ABN website, even you have commented that Militia Race Club does really well during the stages and nowhere to be seen at the end. And so, that's something we had kind of tried to work on this year. And the setups has really kind of helped us out a little bit more. I mean, obviously, we kind of did better, I think, overall at the first Daytona. There's some teams that called up this Daytona race, I believe, because, getting in and out, seeing what each thing does with the car, maybe that, helped other teams to prepare for Daytona now versus just, at the beginning of the season when it was just, that was the only race. And then from there on, we just had fixed setups. So we didn't really have to worry about it. But now it's just, getting in, and I applaud the officials for going this route. I think it's produced better racing. I've enjoyed the racing more, even though without the better finishes that I would mainly have gotten with the fixed setups, with the long runs and, pit road, green flag pit road that I always kind of excelled at. I struggle on restarts, and everybody in the league probably knows it and sees if I'm starting second, third, or fourth, they're like, okay, I got to get this guy. But, overall, I believe the change has, like I said before, brought the team together and made us a little bit more competitive with the likes of Susie and Caitlin Height and the Oberstats and, all the other people, Dustin Hall, that are usually the front runners on fixed setups. Now they're, kind of having to work on their stuff as well. So I think it's made the league better and the racing overall better too.
And obviously it shows here. You have 3 cars, yourself, Chad Swathwood, and Mark Kissenweather, all in the playoffs once again, going for a championship. All that begins in Darlington in 14 days, a track that a lot of drivers are looking forward to for the open setup aspect that we've been talking about, that has been the talk over the last 2 months. Militia Racing Club gets to enter with all the momentum in the world for that race in 14 days. Before we let you go and let you obviously celebrate with the time you've got, and then obviously enjoy Christmas and New Year's coming up in the meantime, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A phenomenal race, a phenomenal second career victory once again on the Crown Jewels, and you got another one coming up here in just 2 weeks.
First, I want to start out by thanking ABN and you, Carmen. Do the absolute best in broadcasting. I've watched league racing for over a decade, of course, and this is by far the best preparation, the best broadcast, start to finish, no down points at all. And so I've got to thank ABN because it's a pleasure to be able to race on this broadcast. And then Blake and Alfred and anybody else that's an official in this league, they're trying things to make the league better, and that's all you can ever ask for in a league owner and officials. And so I applaud them. And then of course Militia Racing Club and CCR and the partnership there with the setups, like I said, it's brought us together. So I want to thank them. And for tonight, I know I kind of thought it was them last week on lap 3, but I've got to thank Ascent Racing tonight for, the push this last 5 miles. If it wasn't for that, then I probably wouldn't even be talking to you. Might not even be in the booth overall. So I want to thank them.
Josh Arnold, a race winner once again after winning the Brickyard 400 just a few months ago last season. Wins another Crown Jewel event, grabs the Firecracker 400 here in Daytona, and now looks to Darlington in 2 weeks, trying to start the championship rounds on the right foot. Josh Arnold, congratulations, and obviously a Merry Christmas coming up here on Thursday as well.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone watching.
Fantastic job for Josh Arnold. Second career win here at Daytona. He is championship hunting in the new year. And that'll do it for us doing the interviews here tonight. We went over the full running order here. We're going to see if we have any unofficial results. Let's see. So we've already went through the results. I'm looking to see if we've got points, and we currently do not. I'll go over what we believe is the unofficial playoff order of things right now. So bear with us. We believe, so again, this is unofficial. Keep an eye out on things on social media and everything as well. Patrick Oberstadt, Mark Kissenweather, Zach Meredith, Brendan Roberts, Pacey Wygant, Josh Susie, Blake Henderson, Chad Swatsworth, Tucker Sawyer, Eli Sasek. Those are the 10 drivers locked in already. They were already in the top 12. They were already locked in. Bailey Thompson, Zach Apperson, they were locked in with race wins, but not in the top 12. Apperson needed to use the wild card to make the playoffs here at the end of the night. We do believe that Hunter Peach, Cody Pinnell, and Elias Flores made the playoffs here, with Josh Arnold grabbing the 16th and final playoff spot with his race win here at Daytona. Again, all of that unofficial. But we will wait official wording here as everyone counts the points, especially from stage 2, and gets everything ready to go for the playoffs in the new year. In the meantime, we're glad you joined us here tonight. We'll be back again this weekend for Winstall 400 qualifying. We hope to see you then. If not, we'll see you after Christmas in the new year for the HTL Southern 500 on January 5th. On behalf of everyone here for HTL, the HTL Cup Series, and everyone here at ABN Studios, thank you all for joining us. Again, our condolences to the families of Greg Biffle, as well as the Button families and the Wadsworth families following the plane crash over the weekend in North Carolina. So long, stay safe, stay healthy, and Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you next time.